Romancing the Dungeon is intended for mature audiences as this show contains adult themes. But not those kind of adult themes, just some sensitive stuff that some audience members may find upsetting. Content warnings for specific episodes can be found in episode descriptions. You're listening to Romancing the Dungeon, a soft-core D&D podcast about heroes navigating their daily lives while looking for love in a world full of peril, monsters, and heartbreakers. All of you feel the air in the room just gets so much more colder as you watch the Heart Eater just twist and recoil backwards in pain. Just this horrifying screeching sound just ripping out from deep within the void beyond those gnashing teeth. And as it does, out of its mouth just comes this broiling dark fog that spills down over it, twisting and coalescing and shaping and gnarling and knotting itself together as it casts Summon Shadow Spirit. And right next to you, Grace, a malformed shadow worn out of what looks to be the remnants of a human body. A twisted skull just made of torn and ripped shadows, the eyes deep and sunken, its mouth elongated and twisted into a snarl. It immediately takes a swipe at you with its hands. It just lunges straight out at you.
That attack roll is an advantage.
So it's a 14 to hit?
It wouldn't hit.
It just lunges forward with its hand and it goes to swipe. And you just step kind of around it, and then immediately it goes for a second, and that's a 9 or a 10. Again, neither of them hit. As you are twisting and turning on your feet, you see it ready to just sort of an upper slash, and you just take one big step backwards away from the worm and it is Clodagh's action.
Where are Oisin and Trep right now?
Still on top of its head.
Okay, so she is going to shout to them, "Get down! Come back here!" And then she's going to cast silence, so it can't make any noise, and it can't cast any spells with a verbal component. But it's not immune to thunder damage because it's not entirely in the sphere. Okay?
Who's been teaching you how to play D&D?
I've been reading this spell for the last 15 minutes.
That's so slay.
It almost feels like we all studied before the exam.
Yeah.
Clodagh, as you scream up at Oisin and Trep to get away from the creature, still clutching the copper rabbit, you hold it straight up and you feel the magic just kind of coming to life within you, and you just sing it forward, and immediately, while the creature is screeching and snarling and hissing, and that screech continues to just sort of emanate from it, the root grows silent. Any bonus action?
Oh yeah, I'm going to give my bardic inspiration to Oisin.
Okay. You, again, watching as Trep and Oisin attempt to maneuver their way down the Heart Eater, you focus on Oisin and just, again, singing his name to yourself, you cast out bardic inspiration. Grace, your action.
So I am going to... Oh, there's that shadow thing. Actually, yeah, I'm going to attack that first. Going in for slash. That's 14. That's a dirty 20.
That hits.
That's a 10 damage. How close is the shadow creature to the worm?
But you are within melee range of both of these.
Okay, with my bonus action, I'm going to kind of slash across to try and get the worm again. That one is a 12 to hit.
That doesn't.
Ah, shit.
Blade in hand, you just sort of swipe at the shadow, and you feel the blade just sort of glance against it. As it does, you feel it's like cutting through webs. And in that moment, your grip blade sort of spins. You grip it in reverse, and you just jab. And this time, the blade bounces from the husk of the Heart Eater. When that happens, the creature, its whole body moves. Like, it just sort of shifts very, very quickly. I'm going to need everybody to give me a dex saving throw.
13.
7.
22.
11.
Anybody who got less than 19, you failed.
Jesus.
God damn.
Trep and Oisin, as ye are sort of finagling your way down out of Clodagh's silence, its whole body just jerks as it slams itself against the stairwell, and the bottom chunk of it just wriggles very, very violently. You all take 11 bludgeoning damage, and you are knocked prone. Aster.
I'm just gonna make a concentration check. Okay, that's fine. I got it.
Oh, and silence.
Shit. Never mind.
The silence
Okay.
gone.
Yeah.
I got a dirty 20 on my concentration, so I'm good.
Okay.
I will. So Aster's going to back up a little bit. I'm going to angle this attack so that it isn't in a 10-foot kind of region that hits both the shadow creature and the worm, but not Grace. So kind of behind
Okay.
the shadow creature and hitting the worm. They both need to make dex saving throws. DC 15. Because I'm going to call lightning.
Hello? Lightning here.
Coming.
So it's a 7 for the Heart Eater.
Sick. That's full damage.
And a 12 for the Shadow.
Both failed. Unless
Okay.
you want to burn a wee legendary resistance.
Oh, actually, I will do for the Heart Eater. It does actually
Cool.
have... so
Get
it
rid
has
of those.
succeeded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it still takes half damage, so I don't mind.
Damn it.
3d10. 17 points of lightning damage, and the Heart Eater will take that halved. So 8 if it's rounded down. And then I'm going to cast, because Call Lightning is an active spell that I'm concentrating on, I can still cast leveled spells. So I'm going to cast a level 2 healing word to our boy Oisin. That is 4 plus 4 plus 3 is 11 points of healing. And since I have my starry form still up, I'm going to throw 5 plus 4 is 9 to Grace.
Thank you. God, I needed that.
No problem. That's my turn.
Trep, it's your action.
Declan, as Ben, I have a question for you. We can play D&D, which will require me rolling 6 attacks, action surging, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. I've played it a lot. It's a good game. But
Okay.
if I'm still at the top of this creature's head and I'm frightened of it, and I need to, I don't need to move away from it, but if I did, and it's everywhere, in theory, I wouldn't really know where to go. So the situation I'm proposing to you is Trep trying to bounce around and this thing following it. And if you remember, much like D&D, a very good game called Snake on the old phones, is there a scenario in which I can convince you that I wrap this thing around itself? Or do you want me to just take those 6 attacks and we can play the regular game?
I'm going to allow it, okay? But it's going to... So your first check for acrobatics will be a 15.
Okay.
Second check would be 18. And the third check would be 21.
Ooh, that's exciting.
No, Ben, you
So-
focus.
You will need to meet all 3 of those acrobatics checks. Failing one, the whole thing falls apart.
Fuck.
I like what you're putting down. All right. First one is a 17 plus 8, 25.
Aster, forgetting the codex and gripping the 4 pages that you scrambled from the ground, you watch as this whole creature's body just roils across the floor, tearing at the root, and just upheaving so much of what you know. And as it slams into you and you brace yourself, you stumble against the wall. And holding yourself there as you sort of pull yourself out of a heap, you lock your eyes on Trep and Oisin as they maneuver their way around this creature's head. You see the shadow creature that it called forth slashing and grabbing at Grace, and you watch as Clodagh just, again, concentrating with all of her ability on maintaining her magic. You draw forth lightning from within, and it twists, and you feel it. You feel the fibers of your bark just crackle in the way that you've often heard Nana Medamoon talk about the pins and the needles. You imagine it's that same sort of prickling sensation, though for you it feels like ants are skidding across the tops of your skin. You hold your left hand out and an arc of lightning just blasts out from it as it strikes at the shadow, ripping it in chunks and pieces. It slashes into the Heart Eater, and the magic is just dissipated as if it's just obliterated by this creature's aura or its energy. And at that same moment, you draw on all the healing energy that you have within, and you cast it on Oisin. And Trep was there a second ago. And you look up and you see that the Harangan is halfway up the next flight of stairs and comes down with one foot, burying it deep into the creature's skull, or where the skull you imagine it being. And then he backflips off of it as the creature's 4 lips just snap, missing the Harangan by an inch as Trep barrel rolls through the air for his next acrobatics check.
Go on, let's see. You got this.
Ooh, 25 again.
Landing on the banister of the spiral staircase on the other side of the route, your 2 feet grip as you fall forward and you push off. Heart Eater just smashing straight into where you were 2 seconds ago. It immediately doubles back on itself, and Aster, you can see what the young lad is trying to do. A foolish move that only a brave person would make. And as you watch the Harangan just dive straight down into the middle of the creature's coil, the Heart Eater's head opens once more, and you just see this sea of razor teeth just open as Trep lands, your feet finding the cold floor of the route. Give me your final acrobatics check. DC 21.
So nervous. And
So light.
the last one, D&D Beyond played me because it wobbled on a 3 and it scared me away from this maneuver. Here we go. 21 exactly.
Oh my god.
Oh my
2 plus 8.
fucking
Oh
god!
my god, Ben. You legend.
Trap!
Yes.
The Heart Eater dives and smashes its full head into the ground, diving into the earth as its teeth just shut, its mouth closing violently, gobbling at dirt. The Harangan had already bounded out, and it was a blur. Aster, as you saw him just leap straight out again onto the opposing banister, only 1 floor above, his whole body just clinging to it for dear life. The Heart Eater dives once again, and Trep backflips off straight through a closing knot that tightens as the Heart Eater has tied itself in a knot, its head just snared. It has lost 2 of its legendary actions.
Oh my god. Go Trip.
Go
Oh my
Trap!
god.
Toda's gonna kiss you on the mouth.
Uh,
And he will
No,
just
so
like that.
Amazing,
Oh my
amazing.
god.
it
Amazing.
blushes.
can no longer use the slam action, which it did a moment ago, and it can no longer use its legendary action to bite because it is bound up in
So-
itself.
I assume we all would have seen the epicness of this
Yeah.
act. Like,
of this bunny, bouncing.
Oh,
I love
buddy.
how it sounds like we've all seen this epicness of the bunny bouncing, like just two diametrically
Hey,
opposed.
it's romancing the dungeon. It's romancing the dungeon.
Yeah.
It's so perfect. And right at this moment, the river is just going to sweep through the roof.
I'd be like, oh my god.
There's a little bit red, like, ooh.
That's my husband. That's my husband, Trep.
That's my man. Thank you to
Water
my
elemental
man.
fully materializes. Text stare behind its ear.
My man.
Oisin.
Thank you to my man.
You are. Oh yeah, we need to. Are you holding on to the creature?
See, because I would.
Whoops.
So originally, I'd be dangling off the teeth. Then, when my main man Trep helps me up out of there, then he starts jumping around as I'm actively prone on the worm. So, what?
I'm gonna
Straight up,
say,
what?
Yeah, I'm gonna say as it dove, you would have been sent flying from it. So I'm gonna want you to give me some athletics check to try and
Not die.
catch yourself either on a floor below or to land without taking too much damage.
Ah, lovely. Right. Okay.
And we're gonna say DC 14, just to be clear.
That's a dirty 20.
Yeah.
Crap.
Filthy.
I would have felt so guilty.
Did I say
Yet
14? I meant
again.
40.
Yet again, with the shenanigans and the devilment, is there any world in which
I love
to
this.
stabilize myself from not being thrown away, I plunge my sword into it and I just kind of hold onto that?
Do it.
And then
Right
if I can use my attack and if I hit, that I can just do the slide down its neck by like dragging the sword down.
Ooh. Ooh.
Got it.
You love to see it.
Here's what I will counter that with, only because you were prone. Give me an athletics or acrobatics check first,
Perfect. I will go with athletics.
because depending on this, we can decide what you want to do.
That is a 25.
Given the state that Trep has left it in,
Mhm.
given what you were doing, and then the roll at which you got, I'm going to say make your attack as normal. It won't take an attack of opportunity against you.
Late.
And you can add an extra damage die to this as well.
Nice.
That's a 23 to hit.
That hits. Yeah, that hits.
Also, if it's a
Take
fiend,
inspiration.
we have established that the creature is a fiend, so you get an extra D8 on Divine Smite if you're
Oh,
doing that.
lovely. So 2 extra damage die. Love to see it. 38. That is
Beautiful.
38 damage.
Gorge.
Oisin, kind of, you find the energy in your body, you find the grip of your fingers around the hilt of your blade, and you take 3 steps back. You run in a burst to the banister. You throw yourself off, just stretching your whole body out as far as you can, and you stick the Heart Eater right where Clodaugh's guiding bolt struck it first, just in the neck. And you drag straight down as a thunderous roll of energy just booms out at that moment. Cracks form along the creature's carapace as you glide straight down. Your feet finding the ground just between Clodagh and Aster. The creature's body, having twisted and dove and risen and smashed, has parted the hall into 3 pieces. Patter and Grace on one side, the Grove Guardians on the other, Oisin, Clodagh, and Aster closest to the entranceway, with Trep on the first floor landing looking down. Bonus actions.
Wait. Oh no. This is still up? I just look at Clodagh. It's like, Clodagh. I just go in for the hug.
I'm so glad you didn't get eaten.
Yeah, that would have sucked. I died a little bit, I think. I have like a song to tell you, which is a weird thing in the middle of a battle. But
Not the weirdest thing I've heard, trust me.
yeah, that's fair. That's a lot of weird stuff has been happening.
Remind me to
Listen.
tell you about my unicorn.
Oh. Listen. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize.
No, I do, because I've been ever since you left, I held on to so much anger about it, and it just wasn't right. You didn't deserve that.
Clodagh, as you hear Oisin offer an apology, you remember the night you left the grove on the eve of the harvest tide, and you could hear the search party. You could hear your father calling out your name, and you slipped down a bank, and you could hear someone talking, and you dropped real low, and you found yourself hiding in the husk of a tree trunk on the edge of the lake. And you remember hearing Oisin speak a truth. And as the tears came to your eyes and you heard him leave, you made your way south onto the old road, full sure you would never see the grove again.
Before anything else happens, I think I just, still in the hug, I pull away from the hug. I still have my hands on Clodagh's shoulders, and I say, "You're my sister, and I love you, and I'm sorry I ever forgot that."
Apology accepted. I'm sorry I didn't tell you when I was leaving last time.
Hey, water under the bridge. Let's protect our home.
The Grove Guardians and Patter are going to go for a couple of attacks.
Slay boots.
Spurred on
Slay
by the group's effort to bring this thing down. Patter is both
Pissed.
in awe and stunned at what he witnessed Trep do.
On Trep.
That's how.
That is a...
Did they get to do a little bit more because I healed the other boys? They
So
have
I did.
more
That's why.
numbers.
Yeah. I'm going to be adding a couple of extra dice rolls just because they're about.
Sick.
Patter does take a swing, but it's much like yours, Grace. As he runs in beside you, he takes a swing at the shadow creature. His spear just sort of...
That nullifies Sanctuary.
Okay. He just takes a swipe with the spear. It doesn't manage to catch the creature, but he is now standing next to it, kind of half flanking it, Grace, with you. The Grove Guardians on the other side of the hall just let out this roar, and they charge forward as you hear them just scream, "For the Grove!" Swords and spears wielded, they charge, and 4 of them land some hefty hits.
Hell yes.
22. You all see it wriggle and just sort of try and shift itself the way it did before, but it isn't. Part of it is still under the earth, almost if it's been anchored there by the soil of the grove. With its shriek, it finds its voice again, and it lets out this horrific scream once again. And I'm going to need everyone to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
And I will roll for Patter, and I will roll for the Grove Guardians. That's a nat 1 for Patter,
Of course.
Come on, man.
and that's an 18 for the Grove Guardians. So
23.
Okay, DC
19.
is 18. 19?
Oh, thank Jesus Christ.
13.
No.
I
That's
also
gonna be-
failed.
That's a solid 1.
Oof.
Okay.
No.
And
No.
Oh, I failed. I got a 9.
Yeah,
is
I
it a
got.
nat 1?
No, I got 2 minus 1.
2 okay. Whew,
I was.
okay.
That's why I asked. I was worried for you.
No, it's the 2 minus 1. If it was a nat 1, I would have been crying.
This might kill me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
No.
This very well could actually. Yeah, no.
Okay, I didn't take the flat damage the last time, and I won't take the flat damage this time, so I'm just going to roll for it. It's 4. 7 is 11. 6 is 17. And 8 is 25. 29. And 34 necrotic damage.
Fuck
I'm down.
I'm down.
No.
Oh, wait.
You
I
get
still-
advantage on the saving throw,
I have-
right?
Yeah, I still have protection up.
Patter's down.
No.
I'm down.
Fucking 17 again.
Clodagh and Oisin, as you sort of separate from the embrace and this creature lets out its scream, you brace yourselves. The song, Oisin, ringing in your ears. You can hear Lilith's voice. You can hear the melody. And Clodagh, you can too. You don't know the words, but you can hear the song. And Aster, as the scream envelops you and everything goes dark, you collapse to one side. Oisin, Clodagh, you see your mentor drop to the floor of the hall. Grove Guardians actually managed to shake off the brunt of it. I think spurred on watching Trep and Oisin do their thing. They steeled themselves. They still took a chunk, but having been healed by Aster earlier on, they're all still standing. And Clodagh, you see your father collapse into a heap next to Grace Stormfield. It's the Shadow Spirit's action. It's going to take 2 attacks. It's going to attack Grace, and it's going to attack Patter.
That's 2 auto death save fails.
Yeah.
For both of them.
It's a 17 to hit Grace. That's with the advantage. And a 14 to hit Patter, which hits. You see the shadow just rise up and bring down just these tendrils. Clodagh, it's your action.
I'm just going to use my movement because that's what I can do. So I'm going to move as much as you will let me in 30 feet. My channel divinity is Balm of Peace. So
okay, and are you moving to...
I'm heading towards Patter.
Okay.
But because I'm moving beside Oisin and Aster, they should get it as well.
Okay. Clodagh, to see Patter to get to him, you have to put a hand on this creature. And as you clamber over the rubble, letting go of Oisin's hand, you grab onto the Heart Eater and you feel its pain. You feel just this swirling maelstrom of sadness and anger and hate, and you just climb. You pull yourself up and over it, and this shadowy creature leaning over both Grace and Patter. You just let the energy emanate from you for that moment, as you sit atop this creature on your knees. You feel just this stillness and this calmness.
So everybody gets 14 HP.
Thank you.
Any bonus actions?
I will give Patter Bardic Inspiration.
Patter, okay. It is Grace, it's your action.
Press I want to attack that shadow creature. That is a 19 to hit, or 6. 9 damage on that, and then I will attack the shadow creature again, and that's a 25 to hit. 11.
How does Grace end this thing?
Okay, so Grace still quite amped up. There's not going to be any sort of like malice. It's going to be like, okay, we're doing this. We're going to pull through this together. Grace is going to slice across its middle, and as the blade passes through, they're going to bring it up. So it's going to be almost like the reverse of what Oisin did with the worm. Instead of slicing it down, they're going to carve it up through the center. And that's how the shadow creature.
Grace, as one moment you feel your whole body just get heavy and you almost drop. And then there's this sense of invigoration. Sword still in hand, you clamber up and kind of squatting. Rise, bringing the blade up in an arc across the creature's chest, slashing straight through it. And as you find its center, again, your arm changes direction and just immediately rise in a straight line up through it. And the shadow creature falls in pieces, just burn away into the ether.
Amazing.
Aster.
Oisin, what are you looking? Are you looking healthy? You looking okay?
After that healing, I'm back to full.
Nice.
Amazing. That's perfect. I guess then I don't want to do a level 2 spell because my Call Lightning is gone, unfortunately.
Of course.
Because I got knocked down, but I got back up again. It's a single is
I'm
never
never
going to keep
keep you
me
down.
down. I will, however, use a bonus action to assume starry form of the chalice. I think I'll heal myself for a level 1 cure wounds, and then I will shoot because I can with the chalice. Grace, you get 12 points of healing from me.
Aster, you pull the magic around you, and as you feel your body re-energize, you cast some of the fairy magic outwards, enveloping Grace. Trep.
I'm frightened of this thing. So I can't move close to it, and I don't think there's anything within reach of it. Like, I don't think it's big enough to poke it with a stick or whatever. I'll keep thinking over the words of encouragement that Oisin had given me before. See if, because I think it's at the end of my turn I reroll that saving throw.
Yes.
16 plus 3, 19.
Again, it's that thing. It's screams still ringing in your ears. Looking down at the scene below, Clodagh sitting atop of it, just sort of surveying and healing. Aster clambering to his feet. Patter, the Grove Guardians attacking. Oisin readying himself, and Grace just obliterating the shadow creature. You find a quietness, and as you feel the kind of a cold sweat leave your body, you fix once again on the Heart Eater. Oisin, your action.
Yeah, if this big worm fucker is still up, I'm just gonna smack it again. Gonna
Okay.
slash at it again.
Roll for attack.
23. And Paladin gonna do what a Paladin gonna do. I'm just gonna smite on it.
Smite that
Hell yeah.
bitch.
That's gonna be
Easy, it's
29
worse.
damage altogether.
Holy
What?
fuck.
29 damage altogether between slashing and radiant.
What are you doing for your bonus action?
How's it looking?
Not great, to be honest with you.
Lovely. Can I do a quick little backpedal and say that before I attacked, I cast Thunderous Smite on it?
Sure. Yep.
Perfect. So I'll just roll that thunder damage then.
Yep.
That's an additional 10 thunder damage, and it needs to do a strength saving throw at DC 15.
14.
God damn.
Right. I don't know how it can be pushed back, but it's pushed back 10 feet and is knocked prone.
Oh, wait. I'm on top of it.
Oisin, you can see all of what's happening, and as you watch Clodagh scramble up on top of the Heart Eater and just cast out this calming energy and this healing, invigorating magic, kind of scuffing your boot into the dirt and the floor of the hall here in the root, you, holding on to your longsword, focus on the creature and just almost like cut through the air as you cast out this wave of thunderous smite that just, your blade slices through the air, and from that tear a maelstrom of thunder just slams into the Heart Eater, and its whole body just shunted 10 feet forward. Some of the Grove Guardians scramble out of the way. Clodagh, give me an athletics check to stay on or to land safely. Which of those two are you doing?
Stay on.
Okay. DC 16 to stay on.
16.
Just as you see the thing just kind of, and huge parts of it just slam into the wall and the stairs here in the root, it knocks out just a chunk of this building as it sort of slams into it, and you see the wall buckle in parts. Aster, Grace, and Patter, all three of you in that moment see just a rippling crack just form and snake through the middle of the roof. You charge forward with your longsword, Oisin, and you slice straight into the Heart Eater. And as you do, your divine energy just slices right through the shell and into the blackened, shadowy flesh beyond. And you find it as you slice deep inside it. The creature recoils in agony as it just sprays out just this clot of blackened blood and green ichor that lands and just withers at the wood of the root. It is Patter and the Grove Guardians. Patter just points up at the roof and shouts, "We need to get out of here!" And Grace, he grabs you by the shoulder and he runs towards the Heart Eater's body. He starts to clamber over it. The Grove Guardians hear him, but also see this creature in its weakened state, and they go to attack.
Nice.
Barry and Terry are emboldened. Not so great, lads. That's an 8.
Come on, guys.
Together.
10. A 12. No. Nope, not a single one of their hits lands. Kind of half thrown by Patter's order to leave, seeing you still attack Oisin, they swing with uncertainty, and their blades find the hardened shell of the Heart Eater, and its action. As it recoils in pain, and as it feels the spear and the blades of the Grove Guardians bury themselves and slam and slash and cut and carve into it, it takes a legendary action, casting out and channeling negative energy. The Heart Eater magically unleashes negative energy. Creatures within 60 feet of the monster, including ones behind barriers and around corners, cannot regain hit points until the end of its next turn.
What the fuck?
And as just this maelstrom of negative shadow energy just ripples out of it, we see the interior of the root begin to buckle and wither as rot starts to set in from deep within the grove, climbing and festering and infecting the root. It is going to try and take a bite out of you, Oisin, for laying into it the last time. That's a nat 1.
Free hit.
Oisin,
Beautiful.
you watch as it dives at you. You see a moment, just as it's not that a creature flinches, it has miscalculated or mistimed its snap. You see a window of opportunity. You get to make an opportunity attack.
And my Thunderous Smite is still up.
Yes, it is.
22 to hit. I love when I can just roll obscene amounts of dice.
It's the best feeling.
Altogether, between the slashing, the radiant, and the thunderous, that is 34 points of damage.
How do you defeat the Heart Eater?
So as it's coming at me, it miscalculated. I'm not going to let that go to waste. I leap into its mouth, and from the inside, I take my blade, jump in a spinning motion, and I just let myself get deep, like to the back of its mouth, almost like the very beginning of its throat. And once I've deemed that I'm in deep enough, I just let swing the blade in a circular motion as I decapitate it from the inside
Nice.
in an explosion of thunderous, like the thunderous cacophony of noise, the storm, and the radiant energy.
In the same move you did before, where your foot found the ground and you found your stance, you feel the earth beneath your feet grit as you lock yourself, waiting, and you see this thing with an intense focus. Everything else seems to kind of blur around you, and you find the breath within, just sort of frozen there, just waiting, and you can hear your heart beating in your chest, and you can feel it behind your eyes. It's your heart and the rhythm of it, and then you hear the melody and the song, and you feel the faintest of light just glance across your skin as just this pale silver and white light takes hold of your hilt, wraps thin fingers around yours, and squeezes. And as the Heart Eater bears itself down on top of you, your blade finding the edge of its beak and just carving, a hand turns your shoulder, scooping you up and just lifting you. You feel Lilith and her presence for the faintest of moments. And you hear some clear, as bright and as loud as the 2 full moons of Arcanum overlooking the canopy in the lake, in the grove, Lilith's voice. In the tapestry of time, a tale is so written. Love and hate fixed in opposition. Destiny's hand, the double-edged sword. They danced with passion, this prophecy ignored. In the shadow's depths where anger takes form, doubt crept in, a gathering storm. Love's flame, dimmed by hate's power, still flickers on through the darkest hour. In this intricate dance of light and shade, we find our purpose where love won't fade. For in the crucible of anger's searing pains, love emerges stronger, its healing reigns. Destiny's words, a twisted art. We carry love and hate within the heart. And you feel yourself just pass through the Heart Eater, your blade slicing cleanly through as its head falls free. And in that moment, Patter Metamoon with grace barrel into you, sweeping Aster and Clodagh. There's a whistle from below, Trep, as you hear Berry and Terry shout your name, and they gesture at an open window, and they go barreling through a collapsed section of the route as the ceiling just caves in, burying the Heart Eater beneath the rubble. As the dust settles and you clamber together, the residents of the Grove village come swarming with aid, blankets, food. Loved ones check on their sons and daughters. Your mother scoops you into her arms, Nana Metamoon kind of rolling her eyes. I told you not to fuss, she's grand, look at her. The six of you stand there looking at the remains of the route. And a stillness falls across the grove. And Nana Metamoon starts to sing. And then another voice joins in, and another, as they all begin to hum this melody. And Oisin, you know the words.
Head up, just looking at the stars, sings the tune that Nana Metamoon and everybody else has been singing. In the tapestry of time, a tale is so written. Love and hate fixed in opposition. Destiny's hand, the double-edged sword. They danced with passion, this prophecy ignored. In the shadow's depths, where anger takes form, doubt crept in, a gathering storm. Love's flame, dimmed by hate's power, still flickers on through the darkest hour. In this intricate dance of light and shade, we find our purpose where love won't fade. For in the crucible of anger's searing pains, love emerges stronger, its healing reigns. At this moment, he just kind of puts his arms around Clodagh and Patter and everyone else, just brings them in tight. Destiny's words, a twisted art. We carry love and hate within the heart.
And the crowd kind of continues to sing, and they've picked up the words. And now many are singing along with it, and their voices sort of like a choir just echo on into the night until dawn begins to break across the grove. And many people had headed home. Others had, as they often would do in times of crisis, cloister around the Metamoon household. Nana Metamoon fetching buckets and buckets of spiced cider and her medicinal batch of peach rum to calm the nerves, obviously. Fussing and faffing and giving out that she had to fuss and to faff for everybody. The five of you find yourselves sitting outside the back of the Metamoon house.
I would just like to... Aster's not there.
Seeing you sort of standing awkwardly in the hallway, Aster, Nana with a couple of cups, some she was drinking out of, some she was passing to others, just kind of fixes an eye on you. And she gestures at the hallway beyond the back kitchen out into the open area where you can just hear Clodagh half singing to herself, the others sort of gathered round. And when she doesn't see you take a move, she puts the cups down. She walks forward and she just wraps her arms around you.
He just kind of holds on to her for a little bit too long. And when he lets her go, he just kind of says, when I made my readings, I had decided that I would do everything I could to make sure she lived. But she is capable, powerful, wonderful, beautiful, as always. I was going to give her something to take to my homeland, but I can do that now myself. I can't stay here anymore. I love you, Nana.
I think Patrick needs to be dusted in here. The dust! And she grabs at her apron and she just kind of dabs. It's as... Patter! The place is filthy!
She's like probably much shorter than him. He does crouch to her height and he gives her one of his flowers, one of his divination flowers, and he just says, could you give this to the girl? And tell her if she needs to find me, if she finds herself in Visage, plant this, and I'll know.
She takes it, she cups it in her hands. Sure, I don't even know what you're talking about. Sure, I'll see you tomorrow. And she goes over and she starts putting the cups on trays. And you see her shoulders kind of sink a little bit. And she kind of, the flower nestles carefully on the tray and some little ceramic cups around it. She saunters into the back kitchen and you just see her kind of wave. She doesn't look back.
Neither does he.
Grace?
While this is happening, Grace is going to try and get Clodag's attention. And Grace is going to be so conflicted, like very happy as to the outcome, but also feeling very guilty about why they ended up here. And Grace is just going to look Clodagh in the face and say, I was here to kill you.
What? What? Why?
It wasn't what I wanted to do. I was an assassin for a very evil being who happened to come into my life at the worst and the best of times. I was bitter and jaded, and I didn't look any further than the promise she initially made me, that she would give me the power to retaliate against that person who made me this way. And as Grace is saying that, she's going to idly kind of run her thumb where her ring would have been. And she's going to take a step back away from Clodagh and say, that's why I tried to keep my distance. I didn't want to know anything about you, about your family, in case she made me do what I swore I'd do for her. And I need you to know I will be telling Nana, but I have a feeling she might know. And this is your home, so I will leave at the earliest opportunity.
Where will you go?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know where I'll go. All I know is that I'm free. I'm just grateful I got the chance to do some good. It's been a long while since I have had a chance to do that.
Look, I don't mean to speak out of turn, but I've recently experienced what it's like to have your heart broken. so I can kind of understand. But I'm really glad that you're not going to kill me, because I like you, Grace.
Grace is just going to kind of... I like you too. And I'm sorry.
I'm accepting a lot of apologies today.
It's the day for it. Usually death, celebration, they tend to run in the same circles, but I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to potentially face what I'd have to do to not just to you, but to your family. I am sorry, and I know if you don't feel safe with me here, I will happily leave. I'll make my way somewhere.
Well, there is one way you can make it up to me. I need to warn my friends about what happened here. And I could use some company on the road.
And Grace's gonna extend her hand, like really formally. But it's gonna be trembling slightly.
Clodag's going to pull her into a hug.
And then Grace is just going to melt, disintegrate into tears.
Winner!
Knots fly. It's just gonna be a full, like, this is a lot. Because this will be the first time she's had a chance to actually breathe a sigh of relief that there is no shady, icky feeling on her soul anymore. This is the first time she's had a chance to just breathe.
There's no knife hanging over her head for once.
No, there is no knife. There is no grey lady.
And feeling that sense of relief, Grace, it's sort of, it is a double-edged sword. It is that, like, the weight of the world has been lifted off of you, and immediately you feel just exhaustion set in. Just tired from carrying it all, and having put it down, you feel your body rested or wanting to rest. And seeing you sort of swaying, Nana comes out, rolls her eyes. Too much of the medicinal peach punch. Right, off back to the prison with you. Come on. And she's taking you by the elbow.
Nana, no.
It's okay.
Yes. She's our guest. She's our guest. You can have Grace's room. You can have Clodag's room.
Nana.
She's company, Clodagh. She's company.
Okay, Nana. Just today.
And yeah, Nana is kind of like escorting you, kind of back through the kitchen and in the hallway and kind of up the stairs. That one there, all the clutter in it. Huh? And watch out for the posters. She's kissed most of them.
As Grace is heading back up, like, to Clodagh's room, I'm just going to shout, "Can I get my scimitars back, please?"
Grace, you toss and turn in your sleep. It came quick and it came heavy. And you feel the tiredness just seeping out of your body. And a memory comes flooding back. The pawnbroker shop. Thane. The book. And he rifled through pages. And he lingered on one. The Heart Collector. The image scored in your memory of a twisted, gnarled female form, draped in rags. And the memory is hazy, and the memory is foggy. And as you scramble to try and read as much as you can from the page, Thane shuts it. He turns and he places it back into the bookshelf, and the last thing you see is you are snapped out of the dream. Reginald Blackmore. It is that thing, Clodagh, as you watch Nana leading Grace away, you find yourself where there was 4 of you. You, Grace, Trep, and Oisin. Patter had kind of followed in after your grandmother whispered something to Oisin, and the pair kind of just nodded at you as Pater Meadowmoon leads you, Oisin, away from the Meadowmoon house and back towards the route. Trep, what are you doing in these moments?
Oh, where am I?
Out the back of the Meadowmoon house, sort of like those of you that had dealt with all of this, with the exception of Aster, had sort of drifted out here after everyone had like come to like offer their congratulations and thanks and all that, for like a piece of quiet. Like Nana had you kind of separated.
Then I think I probably would have overheard some of the, or given how hush hush the village is, the conversation between Grace and Clodagh, come to the obvious conclusion that Clodagh might be leaving again. And given my current hit point status or general demeanor, I think I'm going to go take a cold bath in the river. Probably this time, for the first time in Trep's life, getting in on purpose.
Hey.
Clodagh, you watch as Trep just sort of trundles out the back gate of the house and down
you
the small
follow him?
little... Yeah, I mean,
Sorry. She's just going to run after him and say, I didn't realize how brave you could be. And give him a kiss on the cheek. Thank you, Trep. And then she's going to run back inside.
He's going to say to her shadow, or the cat, welcome, and I love you. And he goes into the river.
you kind of just kneel down on the riverbank and just dunk your head in under the water, and it's refreshingly cold in the way that it's always... The river is always exactly as you need it to be. Every time you slipped and skidded and lost your footing, you found the river, or it found you, and it softened your landing. When your body was sore and tired from your map making, traipsing through the wilds, the river was just that little bit warmer than it had to be. And now, as you feel the aches and the pains dulling the edges, the river is cold, and it wakens you a small bit. And you just find yourself sitting there, whistling a song. The river just bubbling past you all the while.
I'll float in and then just kind of do lazy circles so I float like a little rabbit teddy bear.
Yeah. And
Someone
it
write
is
the
that thing.
fanfic.
I'm on it.
Wading into the river, Trep, you find yourself floating and drifting gently and slowly in circles, never quite reaching the bend, just always in this one spot, but just content and happy. And the faint memory of Clodagh's kiss still just there, like mist. And you drift away into your thoughts, carried by the river. We find Oisin and Pater on the cusp of the debris of the route. The cornerstone of the grove, the temple, the community hall, place of gathering and worship, the place of spirit. Pater just kind of stands there, his back to the rising sun. And you can see now, Oisin, how small he is. You remember looking up at him. Towering man, this captain, the leader of the grove. And he's holding a small cloth bag in his hands.
What's that for? Wait, no, that was so rude and forward. Are you okay? Captain. I forget myself.
Captain. I'm fine. The grove is fine. But This is yours now. And he hands you the bag.
Take it, and before I open it, I just say, I'll try to make you proud. And I open up the bag.
As you reach for it and you open the bag, Patter's hand finds yours, and he just gives it a firm squeeze as he turns away. You already have, lad. And his hands let go of yours, and you hear his footsteps shuffling back towards the center of the village. And as you peer down into the bag, you see a large seed. It is as white as the twin moons of Arcanum, and a coil of vine wraps itself protectively around it. And you can feel a warmth emanating from it.
Doesn't say anything, just holds the seed in his hands and just softly lets the tears roll down his cheeks.
As you stand there, Oisin, you hear a faint rustling coming from the tree line.
Kind of pockets the seed and just goes, wiping the tears from his face just to check on whatever may be.
As you approach, the rustling gets quicker, and then there's silence. And as you squat down, peer in, you see a small child, about 4, 5, long, wild tangle of white and silver hair, and just these brilliantly bright eyes. And from the bushes, you just hear, "What's that?" And we move across the grove to Clodagh, sitting there in the backyard of the Meadowmoon house. You can hear Trep's whistling grow a little quieter. Commotion from inside the house has died down. The sounds of your grandmother and mother pottering away in the kitchen tidying silenced. And you feel it, just a faint little pulse of magic. And you see it look down. You see that the copper rabbit has sort of spilled over. And a small spectral green, copperish little almirage comes bounding out of the tip. And he spins back. Whoa. And you see that he's shaking his little fists. What I miss? Put him up.
Where have you been?
And he spins back around. Whoa! You didn't see what I had to fight. You didn't. It was
Mm-hmm.
massive,
Yeah,
Clodagh, and I took it on single-handed. I took it on all by myself.
I bet. Mm-hmm. Did us proud. I'm sure.
My arm, Clodagh, my arm, and he's now just holding his front little bunny right paw. It hurts real bad, Clodagh. Especially when I do this.
You need me to heal you?
No, I'm okay. I'm tough like that. Don't worry about it. Conserve yourself, Clodagh.
Big guy. Yeah.
Yeah, so tough.
I bet.
So where's everybody? Where's the sad lady and the other sad fella and the sad tree and the sad rabbit? A lot of sad people in this place, Clodagh. I can see why you left. Whoa. God's awful.
She just puts her head in her hands. Copper, you missed a lot, but the important thing is we're all still here. In the grove, I mean, not here in the house.
Oh, I thought you meant here as in like alive, and I was like, well.
Oh yeah, that's kind of what I meant too.
I wouldn't have put money on that, Clodagh. I'll be honest with you. I saw that little floppy fella, and I was like, oh, he's definitely gonna die.
Oisin.
No. Wait. Is that she with the one with the big ears and the big?
Trep actually was really impressive.
Nah, I didn't see it.
Well, just take my word for it. I wouldn't lie to you, Copper.
Well.
Again.
Yeah. So, what we doing out here, Sally? No mates.
I have plenty of friends. They're just Most of them don't live in the grove.
So what are we waiting for?
Well, I promised I wouldn't leave without saying goodbye this time. So I got some rounds to do. And also, it's probably not the best to set off in the middle of the night again.
Yeah, but think of the dramatics. Think of the legend you leave behind. Clodagh, the girl who went missing twice.
You're a really bad influence.
Where did you think Marilla got it from?
Touché.
Oh, that's what I was doing. I remembered something. Clodagh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was about the copper rabbit. Like I was all, oh, Marilla and I used to just drink so much.
You can drink?
Where do you think I got this physique from? And he just taps his little belly, and it does a little roll.
Okay.
Okay. Some people know me as the keg.
Oh.
No. I figured out. You see, and he sees the little head. You just gotta, if you just push the ears back. There's a doohickey. She has a doohickey in the.
A doohickey. She pushes the ears back.
There's a click.
What the heck?
And the top of the cane feels loose. And as you draw it out, you see that within the copper rabbit there is a compartment. And inside this, no bigger than a test tube, there are 6 shards, all different colors.
She's gonna probably fumble with it.
Whoa! You do not want to go messing with those tuts.
One of these killed Marilla.
Yeah, and now you're fumbling them with their, like, I don't know.
What am I supposed to do with these?
Put them back. If you're gonna be that nervous about them.
Well, I mean, you could have warned me.
The dramatics, Clodagh. The dramatics of it all.
She's gonna shake her head again. Copper, what am I supposed to do with these?
Well, that's just one of the other things. I thought you'd like that one. I thought you'd like their infinite cosmic power and all that stuff contained in them.
Well, I can use these with the copper rabbit.
Marilla was trying to do that, and they don't really work so well.
Right. I feel like practicing might result in injury or death.
Yeah, you're gonna want to do the other thing first.
What other thing?
Oh, I remember. Like I said to you, I remembered. You know, when I got a few knocks to the head when I was fighting that huge thing, I got a couple of knocks to the head. And
I will give you a couple of knocks to the head. Tell me.
Well, then I might remember something else if you do that. So, and he kind of just gestures his little head at you.
She's gonna smack him gently on the side of the head.
I don't like cinnamon. See, I remembered something. If you gotta take the tail and you gotta put it in the horn.
Put it in the what?
She made the tail a horn. You gotta take the tail, put it in its little horn where its horn's supposed to be.
She's just gonna try and pop the tail off.
It does feel loose, but only after you start playing with it. And when you pop it out, I mean, there's a tiny little divot in the copper rabbit's head. Tiny.
Yeah, she's gonna gently try and push it in.
It starts to glow for a second. The whole copper rabbit just starts to glow, and then it concentrates at the tip of the copper rabbit, where the little Almirage's horn is. And you feel magic just wave out of it, in the way that the copper rabbit seems to act as a conduit for arcane energies. And then you feel a familiar sense to the magic. Minor illusion. And standing on the tip of the copper rabbit is a little spectral illusion of Marilla Whistlecoil.
What? Oh my god!
Clodagh, if you can hear this, Clodagh,
This message is ultra important. It's super important. You gotta hide my stash. I think I'm dead, and Nate can't know about my stash.
Stash of what?
It's under my bed. Don't look in the box.
Okay.
If you're listening to this message, I'm dead. Or you've been nosy. So, either way, cat's out of the bag on this one. If this is playing, Clodagh, something terrible's coming. You have to warn Nate. It's coming for them all. It's happening again. Save him, Clodagh. Save my Nate. Save the world. Or don't, it's your choice.
You best.
And how do I turn this thing off again? Where's the off button?
What's happening again?
And
Just gonna look at cover.
beats me. You know where there's gonna be answers.
Mm-hmm.
Our fortress. So if we go to the fortress, there's going to be all this information, all this useful information on what she was researching and what she was studying. Probably information on these shards that she was also researching and studying.
Marilla had a fortress?
Well, she called it a fortress, but it was impressive.
Why did she live in the bar then?
Because the bar was also impressive, and the booze was there, Clodagh.
So where's the fortress?
Oh, on the Lake Capulet.
Okay. So you think we should head there before we go to Tezrab?
Well, yeah, we can go to the lake. We can head to Tezrab. We can catch up with the guys. And yeah, bibbity bobbity boo. World saved. Job done. No problem with the shards. Everything's gonna be great. And hear me out. We can finally correct the issue around the whole copper rabbit thing and call it the copper al mirage. Finally get
That's
the
gonna
respect I
take some
deserve.
explaining.
Nah, it's Nate. Just do some shadow puppets, it'll be fine.
Yeah, he does like them, doesn't he? Anyway, so, well, I need to pack.
The copper rabbit starts to glow.
What else?
It starts to vibrate in your hand. Like the walking stick you can feel just power pulsing out of it. I don't, like Copper kind of looks at it. I don't know anything about that one.
Copper.
She's just like holding it out in front of her.
What are you looking at? Just because I'm on the top of it doesn't mean I know anything about it. Just maybe just take the horn out. Maybe take the horn out and put it back in the tail.
She does that, or tries to do that.
You feel the air just pulled around you, Clodagh, as you take the horn and you pop it back in, and the magic just is released in that moment.
Clodagh. There's one other thing. Whatever you are, whatever you're doing. Okay, I really hope you have clothes on. Listen to me, you little bastard. I'm gonna try and get you to Nate as quick as I possibly can. Okay, so there's a bit of magic here at work
and you can start to feel the copper rabbit actually power beginning to grow in it. Like it feels like energy is being drawn into it.
So it's gonna take a minute or two for the spell to enact. You're gonna feel a strong pulling sensation, and then hopefully, if my magic spell works, you will be right next to Nate, and everything will be okay, and you'll be able to give him the shards.
She's like frantically looking around. Nana!
Oh, I was just going to bed, Clodagh. What is?
I gotta.
Oh,
I gotta
you're
go.
drunk.
You gotta. No, listen.
Waving your staff around
Nana,
like an absolute idiot.
Time. I need to go. I'm not leaving. I'm not running away. I promise. I have to warn my friends about what happened, and I have to go right now. And she gestures at the portal that's slowly opening, and just tell everyone.
Did we get that?
I'll be back. Okay, just please.
Oh,
make sure you know.
Clodagh, shush. You've got time, plenty of time. Don't. You too. Now, and she dries off her hands on her apron. Come here, and she just seeing the magic kind of growing around you, and there's the air and the light are all beginning to sort of bend and twist, and it looks like almost like there's like a mirage of a doorway opening behind you, and you can feel the air pulling on you. And like Copper is like, oh, we are. Oh no, I'm not going through that like this again. And he bounds up and he kind of hops up onto the Copper Rabbit. And he just disappears.
Okay.
And as he kind of like vanishes, and you feel yourself being drawn into the dimension door, Nana just comes out and she swoops you into a hug. I'll tell him. Look, I'll tell him. Clodagh, wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, always wear a coat.
She's going to grab her coat off the nearest railing.
Now, I put a little something in that for you, so you have a look when you have a second. There's a little something in there from Aster as well, so you have a look for that as well. Now,
okay.
We all knew you weren't going to be fit to stay, right? We all knew it. I had money on it. And Winnie is going to be real mad because, well, let's just say I heard words that I'm after winning the blue ribbon. / I stole it from your father's dresser, so it counts.
Okay.
Clodagh, I love you.
I love you too, Nana.
She's looking up at you with these eyes that are beaming. Whatever you're doing, sweetheart, you'll make me proud.
Kind of nuts.
And you feel your whole body just pulled backwards, and she lets go. As the light rushes past, and it feels like it feels like the wind has picked you up. There is just this enormous, intense feeling of being moved, being shifted across vast distances. The first thing you feel, the first sensation that comes to you is just this biting cold. And immediately you whip your jacket, the coat on, and it feels heavy. What the hell did Nana put in the pockets? But it feels heavy as you wrap it around you. And as your eyes adjust and the light begins to just sort of dissipate, you feel the wind stinging at your skin and snow sticking to your face and your hair. And you find yourself standing in front of the huge stone walls and a gate above it carved into the rock. Galeshire City. City of Wells.
She is just going to look up at the sign in complete awe because she's never been to the capital before. And she is just going to kind of shuffle the Copper Rabbit at her side and pat the little bunny on the head and say, "Okay, Copper, let's find Nate."
As you sort of pull the coat around you, it's trying to like block the wind from getting any closer to you. Your hands plunge deep into the pockets, and on the right hand side it feels like Nana Medamoon has stored a small army's supply of a picnic in that pocket. And you hear the clinking, the very familiar clinking sound of glass. Short little bottles. And in the left-hand side, your hand against the rustling of the fabric, you feel the soft, delicate touch of petals. And just scooping out, your eyes cast down as you hear a booming shouts of exhilaration and cheers. In your left hand, you hold a small, glowing starflower. And you step into the city of Galeshire. For the very last time, you've been listening to Grove is in the Heart. That draws our special series to a close. As always, a massive thank you to Eilish, Ben, Tendai, Dahi, and Apollo for their amazing work in this story, bringing these amazing characters to life and just absolutely knocking it out of the park. I'm Declan, and I've been your Dungeon Master. We are returning to the main campaign, and without further ado, delay, I'm
so excited for you to see just where this goes. As always, check us out on social media at D8 Dungeon. You can get involved over on our Discord server. You can check us out on all major platforms and head over to twitch.tv/D8 Dungeon to check out our other streams and stuff like that. That's it. What a blast. We've an episode out. Episode? Is that what we call it? We've something coming out in 2 weeks' time. And I'm excited for you to hear that too. The Sam, Ben, Amber, Louise, and Eilish did a masterclass in voiceover work. But until then, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Declan has given us an inch, and we have taken a mile.
No,
That's what's
I heard the word fiend just in a breath. I was like, Divine Smite, that's going to be fucking hit hard.
Sorry, no. Declan gave you an inch, and you all stabbed me in the back and then ran off with my purse.
Declan, but would you have it any other way? That's the
No,
romance
I
in the
wouldn't.
dungeon way.
To be fair, it is the romance in the dungeon way.
To stab people in the back and run off with their purse.